Hi guys, JT here again. And now it's time to do a little training on how to make room for this newfound confidence. And this training again is based on the positive programming from Paul Mckenna. I encourage you all to go to paulmckenna.com and check out all the great tools and trainings that he offers there. We're all born confident. And if you think about it, babies are completely confident. They have no fear whatsoever. They will do anything they want to do. And anybody who has a baby or has had a baby knows this to be true. So all we need to do is make room for that confidence to come back into our lives. We sometimes feel a fear, and instead of being confident and facing it, we hurry past it. And so we're going to talk about some of the tools we can use to keep us from naturally doing that and bring back some of that confidence we had when we were babies. We need two things. First of all, we need to be patient with our fears and allow the confidence to come back in. And then we also need to practice flexibility in our thinking. We need to be more flexible with how we're thinking. And we're about to go through this training and give you exact techniques and ways that you'll be able to be more flexible in your thinking. When you feel that fear coming on, the first thing I want you to do is just pause for a moment. Just pause. Notice your feelings coming on. And then focus on your breathing. And really start to control that. Slow that breathing down. Then notice where you are. Whatever it is you're doing, if you're on stage, if you're in front of your office, if you're talking to your boss, if you're talking to your child's teacher, wherever you are, just notice where that is. Think about what you're going to say or do. Why do you believe in what you're about to do? Because clearly, if you're about to do something, you believe in it. Why? Choose to call this fear and anxiety something else. I do this all the time with my kids when I'm out training them on the baseball field. And they get nervous when they're about to go out to bat or they're going to pitch or when the spotlight is on them. And instead of calling it nerves or butterflies like a lot of my coaches did when I was growing up, what I say is, you know what, that's really your body getting prepared for what it's about to do. It's really excitement, you know. You're excited for what you're about to do. Your body's excited for what you're about to do. So just changing that wording actually changes how you feel about it. And you'll notice even when I talk about that, my energy level changes when I start to talk about excitement instead of stage fright or fear or even butterflies. And what you'll notice is this will add a spark to you, just like it did me. It will add a spark to whatever it is that you're doing, because your feelings are really not good or bad. They're just feelings. They're just something to be noticed. They're just an indicator for you. So pause here and make room for your confidence by checking in with those feelings and seeing what they are. And maybe even in your head, change that wording from, oh wow, I really am nervous and have butterflies, or I'm getting real scared or worried about something, and change that to, wow, this is my body preparing for what I'm about to do, something I believe in, and I'm really getting excited about that. And you'll feel more confident immediately. Another way that we can make room for confidence in our lives is to practice what Paul calls confident listening. You know, what this is really, truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. You see, you want to concentrate fully on the person that you're talking with, that you're talking to. And you'll be able to catch the rhythm of the conversation. And you won't be preparing what to say because you won't need to. Because if you're in the rhythm and you're really listening, you'll know what you need to say, when you need to say it, or if you even need to say anything. Because sometimes it's okay to say nothing. And what you'll notice is you really start to become confident when you do say something because you listened fully to the person who was talking to you. In order to amplify our confidence, we're going to have to practice some habitual thinking. You see, what got us unconfident or this lack of confidence that we currently have is our habitual thinking. You see, we were born confident, so at some point between birth and now, we lost some of that confidence, or we replaced that with a lack of confidence in ourselves. And in order to get that back, we just have to amplify our good habits, right? And eliminate some of those bad habits that caused us to feel a lack of confidence. And then we have to repeat those good habits again and again and again until they become habitual, until they become habits, right? We need to repeat those good thoughts that eventually form good habits, and those good habits amplify our confidence. The first thing you want to do is when you catch yourself saying words like, I can't, or I shouldn't, or I'll never be able to do something, I want you to stop. Immediately stop right there. One of my mentors always said, just say the words cancel, cancel, and then immediately go into the next step, which is rephrase it. So instead of saying, I can't, I say, I can learn that. Or instead of saying, I can't, I say, I haven't learned that just yet. Or instead of saying, I shouldn't be able to do that, or I shouldn't have this experience, I say, I totally should. I'm totally worth it. Or I will for sure do that, because why not? It's something that's going to get me where I want to be. And just by simply rephrasing that from I can't to you can, I can do it, you start to believe in yourself more. A lot of the spiritual teachers and a lot of motivational teachers teaches that there's no fixed meaning to anything. It's just the one that we give to it. So if you start to practice positive thinking, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, just the same as negative thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If either one of them becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, why not choose to be positive? Why not choose to expect the best? Because then if that were to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like your negative thinking has become a self-fulfilling prophecy, all of a sudden your life looks a lot different and you're having a lot more fun. Then you want to really pay attention. When you start to form these positive thinking habits, really affirm your confidence, you'll see that it energizes inside of you. So when you start to concentrate on this positive mental attitude, it starts to energize inside of you, and that negative sort of gets pushed out. You see, most of your life you've probably practiced the negative side, and that's really come out in your results and your experience and your habitual thinking. And when you change those habits to positive habits, you actually strengthen those. And it really starts to energize you from the inside out. You don't need that extra cup of coffee because you're motivated from the inside. You get more of what you focus on. And most of the teachers that you've probably ever come in contact with teach you that. You get what you focus on. So let's shift our focus and let's focus on these positive mental habits. Then you start to gain that magic quality. I mean, we all know somebody who, when they walk in the room, they just light it up. They have this attractive personality, this attractiveness that just draws everything and everyone towards them, this charisma. And they just seem totally comfortable with themselves. And we're attracted to them for all those reasons. And just like we're attracted to them, everybody else is attracted to them. You can develop that magic quality. This next exercise is going to help you to build that magic quality, that charisma. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think of someone who loves or appreciates you. I want you to really remember how they look, and then see them standing in front of you. When you've got a really clear picture of them standing in front of you, go ahead and get into their body. I want you to feel the love and appreciation that they have for you. I want you to really get in touch with those good feelings. Notice in detail what they feel like. Understand what these qualities are that this person appreciates and loves in you, and really feel good about it. Now open your eyes. Do you feel just a little bit more attractive? Do you feel a little bit better just after having noticing that? See, a lot of times we don't notice the qualities that we have inside of us until we do something like this, where we step outside and we look at ourselves through somebody else's eyes. And that goes back to some training that we did earlier about silencing those negative voices in your head, or that critic inside of you. For this next part of this exercise, you're going to really start to feel more attractive. And what I want you to do is I want you to get a mirror and realize that everyone gets compliments at some point. Everyone gets compliments. Even if it's from your mom or a friend or a boss or a coworker, you get compliments. I want you to think of a moment when you got a compliment that was significant. Not just like, hey, you're looking good today, but you are really someone who is respected in this community. Or, wow, your kids are so awesome. That's such a reflection on you as a parent. Whatever that compliment might be. And this compliment is really going to enhance your self-esteem. This process is really going to enhance that self-esteem when you start to really get emotionally involved with this compliment. All right, now that you've got that compliment in your mind, go ahead and close your eyes. Make sure that this compliment you received was sincere, that the person who gave it to you was sincere in giving this compliment, okay? Because this process is going to work a lot better if that person that gave you this compliment, for sure was very sincere when they did that. Pay attention to the feelings that it stirs up in you when you think about this compliment that they gave you. And then locate where in your body are you having that feeling. Go ahead and give it a color. Move it all throughout your body. Make sure it goes around your ankles, your legs, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your hands. Just run it all the way up to the top of your head, and then run that color all the way down to the tip of your toes. And then just double the brightness and double the brightness again until it's illuminating your entire body. You really want to feel this throughout your body. Feel it so strongly that you just are emotionally involved with the idea that you possess this quality that somebody was complimenting you about. Now open your eyes and look in that mirror I had you get earlier. Allow yourself to see something good in you that somebody else saw in you. Notice how good this really feels to you. Just take a moment, look at yourself in that mirror, allow yourself to feel good about this. The second part of making room for confidence in your life is accepting that there's risk. You see, if you know something, if you have this knowledge, you're not actually confident. You just do it because you know it, right? It's not about confidence at that point. Confidence actually comes from taking a risk and still going for it. You see, you're embracing this risk and saying, you know what, even though this is a risk, because I don't really know it, I haven't really done it before, so it's a risk, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, because I know it's going to get me where I want to be. And just allow the fact that risk has a place in our lives, a very real place that builds this confidence for us. It's the risk that gives value to any of our achievements. If there was no risk, there would not really be any value in our achievement. Just get used to having risk. As you gain confidence, you'll learn how to deal with that risk. You learn that you can achieve your goals, any goals, whatever goals you set. And that's part of this process. And not only as your confidence level increases, you will become more powerful. Start to have that magical quality and that charisma that we talked about earlier, and really start to become an influencer in your circles. And the last thing we want to do in this training here is we want to get you looking forward to your successes. And the more that you do this, the more you're going to have successes. And the reason why is what we alluded to earlier when we said you get more of what you focus on. Close your eyes right now and fantasize your ideal world. What would it look like if you were doing what you wanted to do? Really see what you would want to see. Hear everything as perfectly as you would hear it in your ideal world. Enjoy how you feel in this moment while you're in this picture. Notice that feeling in your body. Where is it? Located in your body. And then give it a color. It can be the same colors you used before. It could be a different color. Now move it all through your body. Just go around your ankles, your knees, your thighs, your stomach, your waist, your chest, your arms, your hands, your fingers, your face, your head. And now that this color's at the top of your head, just move it all the way down through your body till it comes out the tips of your toes. And then make it brighter. Let it permeate your entire body. And notice how wonderful you feel right now. Really turn up the brightness on this feeling. Feel that joy and energy that is surging through your body right now. Notice how good you can feel just by simply using your mind in this way. Keep that feeling in you. And when you feel really good, what happens is you'll notice that your body language says so. Your body language will start to communicate to the people around you, even if you've never met them before, that you are feeling good and that you are a person who is in the way of their feeling good. You will start to tune in more with happy people. And you will begin to create a warm atmosphere around you that people are attracted to. And then you get that magic quality where when you walk in a room, others start to gather around you. You help them feel good, and you start to really affect the world around you. You create this happiness, this excitement, and it's contagious. So make sure that you're doing these practices every day. Bring out the optimism in others. Walk tall. Imagine that you have a golden thread that goes all the way up to the sky and down through your head and your spine, and it's holding you up. So you just relax into this natural, upright position of confidence. And just know that you rock. And when you do this every day, you start to become limitless and confident. And your world changes and you become the influencer. There's nothing better than hearing it from Paul himself. So take just a few more minutes, put your notepads down, and I want you to go through this process as Paul himself explains it to you.
You see, we're all born with confidence. Babies are confident. They cry and they expect to be fed. They explore and they have no fear. We all have the ability to regain the confidence we're born with. And one of the main things we have to do, which is ridiculously simple, is just to make room for confidence. People who've lost confidence feel fear, and so often they hurry to get past things or hang back and avoid them. They speak too little or too fast. To let ourselves feel confident, we need two simple qualities: patience and flexible thinking. A few years ago, I was giving a presentation at a conference. I was on a panel with other speakers, and while they spoke, I was really enjoying relaxing and being a member of the audience. So it came as a bit of a shock to me when I was called to speak. I went to the rostrum and I looked out and I saw a huge room full of people looking at me. All of a sudden, I felt my stomach tighten and my hands went clammy and started to tremble. I was very surprised because I'm used to appearing in public, so I wasn't expecting to feel anything like that. What I did was nothing. I just stood there and noticed my feelings. First of all, I noticed my breathing. I got used to standing where I was. I thought for a moment about what I was going to say and how much I believed in it. I didn't have to call it stage fright or lack of confidence. I was excited, and that added a spark to my presentation. Then, when I felt ready to speak, I began. Now, this was a fairly simple little incident, but it shows three things. Firstly, you never know when you're going to be surprised, because I had no idea I was going to feel anything like that when I stood up. Secondly, it reminded me of the value of patience. I simply took my time to notice what I felt and got used to it. I didn't rush away from my feelings by diving straight into my presentation in a terrible rush, and when I acknowledged how I felt, it wasn't overwhelming. It helped to notice my breathing and to let that be calm as well. Thirdly, I reminded myself that the feeling I felt wasn't good or bad. It was just what I felt. I could choose to call it fear or stage fright, or eagerness or excitement, and I chose to call it excitement. I was reminded of this when I was sent a tape of my presentation, and I heard the pause before I started to speak. This was the pause that I took to make room for my confidence. There are lots of ways you can make room for confidence in your life. In conversations, we can practice confident listening. Confident listening is allowing yourself to concentrate fully on the other person's speech. It means that rather than preparing what I'm going to say, I really listen to you, and so often when I listen well, what I need to say, and when it's okay to say nothing, becomes much clearer. When I hear the rhythm of the conversation, I discover that there are plenty of times when silence is appropriate. By listening with patience, I make room for confidence in my conversations. The same is true with actions and feelings. Patience makes room for confidence. Turn your attention outward to the world while acknowledging what you feel. Stay curious. Often, you don't have to do half as much as you were worried about when you lacked confidence. And when it's time to act, what you have to do is clear and simple. We all use habits a great deal in our life. Some habits help our confidence, others don't. So to increase our confidence, we have to amplify the habits that assist us and eliminate those that don't. Much of our thinking is habitual. It happens all by itself and just as a string of associations. Mostly, we tend to be absorbed in a task or interest, or afloat on a river of automatic thinking. However, we can affect it. With a little effort, we can redirect our attention. It turns out that associational thinking is very powerful, so this effort has to be made over and over again. At first, it's quite surprising to discover how easily we can be distracted, but if we repeat the effort over and over again, we gradually find that we affect our patterns of association and also increase our powers of concentration. It's also useful to phrase things positively, to use optimistic language whenever possible. I don't mean that we should ignore difficulties or problems, but that we should always look towards the solution. If we use positive words to ourselves and others, we're more likely to receive positive words and messages from them. So avoid putting people down or putting yourself down. Watch out for negative phrases like, I can't, or I shouldn't, or I'll never. Whenever you hear yourself use a phrase like that, stop and rephrase it in positive terms. For example, instead of, I can't do such and such, use, I can learn how to do such and such, or I haven't learned how to do such and such yet. An important theme that runs throughout the positivity system is that there's no fixed meaning in life except the meaning that we bring to it by looking at things that you've got going for you. Positive thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every time we pay attention to something, we energize its presence within us. If we pay attention to negative thoughts, we just make them stronger, so they crop up more and more often. But when we pay attention to positive thoughts, we strengthen them, so that they return to our consciousness more and more often. Remember, the golden rule is, you always get more of what you focus on in life. We all know people who have a kind of magic quality about them. When they walk into a room, it lights up, and we feel drawn to them. They don't have to be the life and soul of the party. Sometimes they don't even seem to do or say much at all, but something about them makes them mysteriously attractive. They have that quality called charisma. Charismatic people feel comfortable in themselves. They aren't desperately looking for the approval of others. That's why we feel attracted to them. So let's do a couple of techniques now to really crank up your self-appreciation and make you more charismatic. If it's appropriate to, close your eyes. If not, do this with your eyes open. And think of someone who loves or deeply appreciates you. Remember how they look, and imagine they're standing in front of you. Now, gently step out of your body and into the body of the person who loves you. See through their eyes, hear through their ears, and feel the love and good feelings that they have as you look at yourself. Really notice in detail what it is that they love and appreciate about you. Fully understand those amazing qualities that perhaps you hadn't appreciated about yourself until now. Take a few moments to feel good as you look at yourself now. Then open your eyes and come on back out. This next technique is excellent for making you feel much more attractive as a person and was devised by my colleague Michael Breen. So go and get a mirror and don't continue until you have. One of the reasons this technique works so well is because everyone receives compliments and praise from time to time. Sometimes they may seem trivial. Hey, you're looking good. Or, you look sharp today. And at other times they're quite significant, like, you're so sexy. Or, do you know how much people respect you? Sincere positive perceptions from others, perceptions that you might not have been able to see or fully appreciate from the point of view you had at the time, can be valuable in learning to appreciate your own qualities more fully and enhance your self-esteem now. So, if it's appropriate, close your eyes. If not, do this with your eyes open. Firstly, in front of your mirror with your eyes closed, recall a time when you were paid a compliment by somebody you respect or trust. You don't necessarily have to have believed the compliment for yourself at the time, but you do need to trust the sincerity of the person who said it. Run through the experience again. See what you saw, hear what you heard. As you recall that compliment and the sincerity of the person who said it, pay particular attention to the feelings of trust and regard for the other person. When you feel that feeling strongly in your body, notice where it is you feel it. Give it a color. Move it up to the top of your head, down to the tip of your toes, and double the brightness. When you feel that feeling strongly, open your eyes, look in the mirror, and see what they saw. Allow yourself to see something good that someone else has seen in you, and notice how good it feels. Another part of making room for confidence in our life is accepting that there's risk. This may sound odd at first. After all, we often wish that we had so much confidence that we could avoid risk. But confidence isn't knowledge. If we know we can do something, we don't need confidence. We can just do it. We only have confidence if we're not 100% sure of success, yet we still have a go. That's the essence of confidence. When there's no risk, there's only certainty. Confidence only comes when there's risk, so we must embrace the risk, recognize it, and realize that it has a place in our lives. In fact, it's because of this risk that you can value your achievement, because you achieve them in the face of risk. Each step is a risk, however small, and as you get used to having confidence, you'll realize that you get used to having risks. Risks don't go away. We just learn that we can face them and deal with them, and as we do so, we become more powerful. We learn that we can achieve our goals and become more confident. Let me show you one more thing that increases your confidence, and it's great fun as well. It's very empowering and enjoyable to look forward to the success in our future. And the more we get used to it, the more it happens. If it's appropriate, I'd like you to close your eyes now. If not, just imagine this with your eyes open. I'd like you to fantasize how good things would be in your ideal world. Imagine your dreams have come true. You're doing exactly what you want to do. All around you, you can see exactly what you'd like to see. Everything you hear is perfect, and you enjoy what you feel as you do this. Notice where in your body it feels best of all. Locate the feeling and give it a color. Imagine that color glowing there within you. Now, begin to move that color all over your body, to the top of your head and down to the tip of your toes. Let it permeate your body. Notice how wonderful you can feel just by using your mind like this. Make sure it's around your legs, your feet, your stomach, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your hands and your fingers, your neck and your face. Make it truly brilliant. Turn up the brightness, feeling joy and energy surge within you. And keep that feeling within you. Wonderful, brilliant, bright, fantastic. When you feel good and happy, your non-verbal communications put you in tune with good and happy people and help other people feel good too. So you create a warm, friendly atmosphere. With this simple exercise, you can actually affect the world around you. Do this every day. And soon you'll notice how it begins to bring out the optimism and enthusiasm in people that you mix with. Remember, happiness and excitement are contagious. Okay, open your eyes and come on out. Finally, remember, walk tall. When you finish listening to this, get up and hold your head high in a comfortable and relaxed position on your shoulders. Imagine that a golden thread runs vertically up your spine and straight up to the sky, and that thread supports you. Let yourself relax safely, held by that thread. This relaxed upright stance is the natural position of confidence, and it will soon be as natural to you as breathing, so enjoy it. Remember to use these techniques every day, and don't be too surprised at how much more confident and charismatic you become. Use them as often as you can. As your confidence increases every day, you'll find yourself doing things that you used to dream of.
Positivity. Positive software for your mind.